am I? No. Hey, lay down. All right. So, what do you think of the book so far? It's all right. Okay. Who do you like better, Jess or Leslie?
Leslie.
Do you have your speakers turned all the way up?
Yeah.
Did you get to finish reading chapters 5 and 6?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. Well, last week we had the beginning of the book. We did chapters 1 through 4. And Leslie was new to the day, and they bought this farmhouse kind of as a fixer-upper. And both her parents are authors. So they wanted, they wanted to change the way that they ran their life, basically. They wanted to get away from the city, away from all that, and just kind of have a quiet life and just focus on things that were more important, like family. So Leslie was an only child, and she had short hair. She looked like a boy. And so she was new to the town. She lived next door to Jess. Jess has 4 sisters, 2 older and 2 younger. He has a poor family. You know, his dad is gone from sunup to sundown, working hard. His mom's stay at home. She takes care of the household. And so Jess has to take care of the farm chores, milking the cows and helping mom, pick the vegetables and help with the cannon and things like that. And he's pretty quiet. He doesn't really like his life too much because his dad doesn't really spend a lot of time talking to him. He spends more time with the younger girls, and he wishes he was little again. So Jess and Leslie become friends, and they both like to run. And now they've got a common enemy, this girl named Janice Avery. So this Janice Avery is a girl who is overweight, and she picks on people. So as we will see in this chapter, she picks on Jess's little sister. And so she gets really upset and wants Jess and Leslie to fix it. So they do something to her to kind of get revenge. So, excuse me. All right, so we're going to start on page 21 if you have your workbook or your worksheets. And we have some words. And I don't know if you've heard of all of them. Probably not.
No.
But we're going to see what they mean. And the first one is vigorously. What does vigorously mean, you think?
Like, I don't know, is it like really fast or something?
Kind of. Yeah, you're really trying to get something done. So you're using some force. Let's say you had a spot in your clothes. You want to scrub that spot vigorously to try to get that out, or you throw it in the washer. Okay. The second one I had never heard of either, and it's called regicide. So I looked that one up, and regicide is actually involves killing a king, and the side part has to do with the killing. And Reggie, they're talking about like royalty, because if you say somebody is part of royalty, they're regal. So that's where they came up with the beginning part of the word. So like, the homicide, that's killing of somebody, because it's got the side suffix on there. So that's killing a king. A parapet, you've probably not heard that word before either. That word means that it is a wall that is built up to protect soldiers. So they're like inside of a little fort, so that's a wall that protects them. Okay. Whew, got the yawns. Okay, surplus. You've probably heard of that.
I think so, but I'm not sure what it means.
Okay. If you have a surplus of something, that means you have a lot of extras.
Oh.
Okay. Page 22, desperate. I know you've heard that one before.
Yeah.
So if you're desperate, you're what?
I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. Basically, you've lost all hope. You're really trying to get something or get somewhere. You're desperate. You have to do this, but you don't have much hope of getting there. It's like a last effort to get something that you may or may not get. Okay. What about sneer?
I've heard it a lot, but I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Okay. What that is a smile or a laugh with a look that says they basically hate what you're saying. It's full of contempt. It's like, So it's not very friendly. Okay. Number 7, prescribed. What about that one?
Not sure.
All right, well, if you go to the doctor and he says you have strep throat, he's going to prescribe you something, right? He's going to prescribe
Yeah.
some antibiotics, which means this is going to make you better. You have to take it. You follow the directions. You take one pill twice a day, or whatever he sets up to do. In this instance, we're talking about with the king and the kingdom. So something that is prescribed is basically they've laid down a rule or a law and they say this is what you have to follow. Okay. What about a metaphor? What's a metaphor? Do you remember?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
A metaphor is when you compare a couple of things. It's just like a simile, except similes use the word like or as. Metaphors don't, so sometimes they're a little bit harder to see.
Yeah.
So they've got down here at the bottom of 22, Leslie liked to make up stories about the giants that threatened the peace of Terabithia, but they both knew that the real giant in their lives was Janice Avery. So what was being compared to a giant? The problem they have to face. Janice is a problem for them, so she is their giant. Okay, so that's what they were comparing there. In number 1, page 23, in chapter 2, it says, but it was Miss Edmonds who was the diamond sparkling out of that muddy, grassless, dirty brick setting. So what is being compared to a diamond?
Miss Edmonds?
Right, Miss Edmonds. Okay. What's being compared to the muddy, grassless, dirty brick setting?
The diamond? I don't know.
Okay. Let me see here. They're actually comparing it to the school because they said, he says their school is boring. It's just a yucky building. So that's what he's comparing. Okay. All right, number 2, Mrs. Myers, who was their teacher, her face had lost its lemon pie smile. So what was being compared to a lemon pie?
Her smile.
Yeah. Because you think of lemon, that's bright and sunny. Okay. Number 3, Lord, there was no escape. He'd have to fight the female gorilla now. So what is being compared to a female gorilla? And this is talking about Janice, basically. So that's who they're comparing. Okay, so he's comparing Janice to the female gorilla because she's a girl and she's mean. Okay. Number 4, nobody with any sense would call that stick a girl. So who's being compared to a stick?
A girl?
Yeah, Leslie, the girl. Okay, now the questions at the bottom of 21. How did Janice Avery and her friends terrorize the younger kids at school?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, if you went to school, I don't know if you've been homeschooled your whole life or you went to school or whatever, but a lot of times when you're little, there'll be a group of older kids that like to tease the younger kids. They'll take their lunch money, knock the books out of their hands, steal their hats, just tease them. So Janice Avery and her friends, she's a big girl, and she like cons the little kids out of their snacks and stuff. So she would steal their snacks, sometimes steal their lunch money and things. So that was what she was doing. So that was mean. She was pretty mean. I never had anybody do that to me, but they did tease me and call me Four Eyes, and I would wear a hat, like one of the knit caps in the wintertime, and they would steal that and throw it up in the air and back and forth. And they're not very, very nice to me when I was little. And they did that to my sister too sometimes. But number 2 on 24, Maybelle is Jess's little sister. So why does Maybelle want Jess to fight Janice Avery? What did Janice do to Maybelle?
I can't remember.
Well, Maybelle got a pack of Twinkies, I think. Their dad had brought her a pack of Twinkies from Washington where he worked. And so she talked about that the whole bus ride to school. Look at what my daddy brought me. I am so excited. And Jess tried to tell her, don't tell anybody, because you know how Janice is. She will just steal them. Mm-hmm. So at lunchtime, little Maybelle finds Brother Jess, and she's crying and she's upset. And she says, Janice took my Twinkies.
Oh, yeah.
He says, well, guess what? I told you that might happen. So she's upset, so she wants Big Brother to get revenge. You ever wanted your big brother or big sister to get revenge for you?
No.
So that was why she wanted to do that. But he doesn't want to fight her. And so he and Leslie come up with something else. So on number 3, what did they decide to do?
I don't know.
Okay, well, they convinced Maybelle, we're not going to fight it right now, but we are going to take care of it, so just let us come up with a plan. So after school, Jess and Leslie went to their little secret kingdom of Terabithia in the woods, and they tossed around some ideas and tried to figure out what can we do without it coming back on us and kind of teach her a lesson. So they came up with, they figured out who she liked, so they thought, okay, we'll write a note from this boy saying that he likes her and he wants to meet her after school and walk her home.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Jess writes the note. He misspells a couple words and everything to make it look like it came from this other boy. So the next morning they go to school, and Leslie's the lookout. Jess goes into her classroom, finds her desk, and leaves it on top. So she finds it. Well, at recess time, all the girls were around Janice, and they were talking about it. So she was all excited that this little boy, I think his name was William, that he likes her. He's going to meet her after school, and they're going to walk home together. And she was just thrilled. So after school, it had gotten around to everybody. So after school, they're all on the bus, and people were talking about it. And some of the other kids are like, no, the boys were saying, no, he didn't go walk with her. We just saw him leaving his car with his parents. And it's like, okay, so nobody knew what was going on. So the next day, she got on the bus, and she was just really in a bad mood. And Maybelle looked at Jess, and she said, you really got her that mad? What did you do? And he told her, and he says, but we can't tell anybody that I wrote that note. It's a secret. And she says, I know. So she was glad that he got back at her. But number 4, how did Jess feel about that? Was he proud of himself after writing that letter?
No.
No. Kind of made him feel bad because, it was a lie. So he hurt somebody's feelings, but he was trying to protect his sister.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, Christmas is coming up. They don't have much money. Jess thinks that Maybelle should get something special for Christmas. Why did he think that? Well, she was 6 or 7. The older 2 girls are teenagers. And then the younger girl, she's like maybe 3 or 4. So she's still kind of a toddler, a baby, And him and Maybelle get along pretty well. And he just thinks, she needs to have something special because she's at that age and she really wants a Barbie. So he wants to do anything in his power he can to get her the Barbie so that she can be happy and have something,
Yeah.
So he's got $1 that he can spend for each family member. Well, he also wants to get Leslie something. And, Jess and his sisters have decided we're going to put our money together and get Maybelle this Barbie. So money was going to be very, very tight, but he had to figure out something for Leslie too.
Mm-hmm.
He thought, well, maybe I'll draw something for her. Well, he sat down and tried to do that, and he says, nah, this is not working. Everything he tried, he just threw it away. It's not working. So what did he end up giving her?
I know it, but I can't.
It was something that was alive. It was an animal.
Yeah.
Remember what it was?
No, I can't remember.
Okay. He was on the school bus going home one day, and he sees this sign. And he says, bus driver, I need to get off right here. And they're like, that's not your stop. He says, well, I got to do something for mom. And she says, okay, as long as I don't get in trouble. So she let him off the bus. And there was a sign that said free puppies. So he went and got a puppy for her. I don't know how he kept it hidden from his sisters and everything, but he went and gave it to her, and she was just so excited about it. They named it, oh, Prince something or other, and she just loved that little puppy. So she was so excited, and so that kind of showed Leslie how much Jess cared. They were like best friends. Because they both were kind of outsiders, and so they had each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 7 on page 25. Why did Jess feel sorry for Janice?
Because she was really upset.
Yeah. Yeah, and he knew, somebody makes you mad, so you do something to make them mad. That really doesn't solve anything. You just end up with two mad people. So it wasn't the right thing to do, but he was trying to help his sister. And, sometimes you can't talk to that other person and try to make them see that, what you did wasn't right. You need to apologize. Sometimes bullies you can't do anything with.
Yeah.
But usually people are bullies because there's something in their life that they're struggling with. They're unhappy about something and they don't know what else to do besides pick on other people.
Yeah.
So, okay. Number 8, Christmas morning has come. And what happens that makes Jess's father angry on Christmas morning?
I don't know.
Well, Jess got a racetrack. His father bought him this plastic racetrack with cars on it, and the cars, as soon as they would go around the curve, they would fall off the track. So no matter what Jess did, they kept falling off the track. He kept putting them back on. So his dad was watching it, and he says, man, this was a piece of junk. He said, I spent this money, and it's just junk. He said, why did I even bother? And so he was upset, and Jess was upset because he wanted his father to like what he gave him and, feel something for him because his dad never really paid much attention to him.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, what do you do, Okay. So why, in number 9, why did it not seem like Christmas to Jess until he went to see Leslie? Why didn't he feel like it was Christmas?
I mean, maybe because she treated him nicely, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. She and him were friends, so he was excited to see her and happy to see the puppy. And, and he felt like his family just basically didn't care about him.
Yeah.
So he felt better with her. Okay. Number 10. The Bible talks about revenge. Are we supposed to take revenge?
No.
Who's supposed to
Um,
take revenge?
God.
Yeah. We don't always follow that though, do we? We try to get back at people.
Yeah.
hmm Okay. So if we're not supposed to take revenge and somebody does something awful to us, what are we supposed to do?
Mm, say that again?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So if you're thinking about God is supposed to take revenge, we're supposed to treat others like we want to be treated, but that, people still treat us unfairly. We're supposed to forgive them, supposed to pray for them. So, do you think Jess and Leslie did the right thing with Janice?
Mm, not really.
No, they really didn't. They kind of let things take over and they said, well, we've got to do something to make Maybelle feel better.
Yeah.
And what else do you think they could have done to make it better? Or could they do anything?
I mean, I wouldn't really do anything.
Okay.
Just
So,
kind of let it go. Just try to ignore it because you can't really do anything.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, if they had went and talked to Janice's parents, that probably would have made things worse. And, really, there really wasn't anything that they could really do. But maybe if they could convince Maybelle to maybe be nice to Janice. Sometimes, they say you can, if you're nice to somebody when they're not nice to you, that kind of makes them think, well, why are they being nice to me? Because I'm mean to them. And it
Yeah.
makes them stop and think about it and maybe change their idea sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. So the book talked about giants. They had Janice was the giant in their life. She was like the enemy, or some problem that they had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
We all have giants in our life. We have things that we deal with every day, and it could be, trying to get good grades. It could be trying to make better friends. It could be um, all kinds of different things. You just have struggles in life. That's just part of life. Right now we've got a big struggle. We've got this virus out here that's, taking over everybody's lives, and, we can't go and do things like we normally do. And it's, we've never been in this situation before, and it's scary,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes people sad and depressed and upset. And, we just have to pray about it and try not to worry and be scared, just use common sense and try to do the best that we can, and, God's got our back. He's going to get us through it. And, one of the moms that I had at CAC, the Christian school, I taught her son like 4 years ago, and she used to work at our vet. And the radio station actually interviewed her over the weekend because she got the virus and she almost died. So her name is Marcy. Her and her husband are pastors of a church in Crab Orchard, and it's on 105.7. It's on the internet where you can read her story. But it's like, oh my goodness, they said that she just couldn't even breathe, and she was in the hospital for a week, and said that, they looked at her lungs because they thought, she had pneumonia, and it said it looked like her lungs were full of glass. And
Oh
she said that,
wow.
she never took any medicine other than, Excedrin or something for a headache. And she said that, they gave her powerful pain meds at the hospital, and it didn't even help. So, and she said,
Oh
I thought I was just done, and of course her son and her other kids and her husband couldn't be at the hospital with her because, she was in isolation. And it's just like, oh my goodness. She said it was just so scary. And I'm glad she's all right now, but it just makes you think, and she doesn't know how she got it. I mean,
yeah.
other than going and visiting people in the nursing home and, hospital as a pastor's wife, but it's like, it's really scary, you know,
Yeah.
but we just have to remember God's got us and just do the best we can. We'll come through it on the other side somehow.
Yeah.
So next week we're reading chapter 7 and 8. And I'm not going to do any quizzes, I don't think, because it's just kind of, complicated doing it,
Mhm.
online and stuff. So we're just going to do 7 and 8 and your worksheets that go along with it. And can you think of any questions or anything you might have?
Nope.
Nope. All righty. Well, then I guess we will see you next week. Have a good
Okay.
week and tell your mom I said hey and stay safe.
You too.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye.